Where can we assist? Let's talk about the people. We started with platform, we go to people next. If you think about your people in a professional services industry, your people and their hours are your sales inventory. That's what you have available to sell to your customer, to make margin on, and to continue to grow your business. Unused hours, that's unsold units. If you think about an inventory, your person comes in with 40 hours to put on the shelf. You need to sell it the best way you possibly can. If you're not using it, you're not getting paid for it. More accurately, if you're not using those units, those unsold units technically cost you money because you're still paying that consultant to sit there and not be billable. So we need to figure out a way to account for the unsold and then sell them, and preferably to our customer base at the highest rate possible. So a non-discounted rate means I better have value for that hour. So how do we give them value? In the people, we mentioned that hours are inventory. I also mentioned a 40-hour work week. Well, I love this quote from Thomas Edison. Sure, the first 40 hours are survival. And anybody that's working a 40-hour week at the moment, congratulations. I know a lot of us are not. But to make life easier for our people, and to keep them thinking they're on a 40-hour work week, we need to make simple processes. So in the process, let's talk about time tracking. One of the things that we can recommend that costs us nothing to recommend and costs you nothing to implement, but is a direct and dramatic input on your bottom line, is make your people do daily time tracking. I know they're going to whine, they're going to cry. Oh, I don't like it. It takes too much time at the end of the day. Fine, deal with it. It's a requirement. You do your hours, and there's lots of tools. There are the little cubes. You can sit down. It'll track whatever project you're working on. For those people who might be working on 6, 7, 8 different projects in a day, support that tends to do that. Implementation consultants tend to do that. Business consultants tend to do that. So great, that's okay. Why does that matter? Well, we actually did a white paper, and it's out on our website if you want to find it. It's called the Forgotten 15. And they've done some studies. One of the studies, a few of the studies pointed out that in the course of a normal day, we as a business person, we're playing in a PowerPoint because we've got a presentation to do. We're playing in email because we've got to keep up an email. We're answering customers' phone calls. We're answering employees' phone calls. We've got lots of balls in the air as the day goes on. How much of that do we forget about by Friday afternoon at 3 when we've got in our calendar, hey, let's make sure to do my timesheet for the week. Well, I know on Monday I worked mostly for this customer. Let's call that 5 hours. I know I did. No, that's not the way to do it. Because if you do that, and if we think about some of those verticals that we mentioned in the accounting and the legal profession specifically, we talk about an email. Your attorney will likely tell you, if I'm going to answer your email, every time I answer your email, it's going to cost you between 6 and 15 minutes of my attorney's time. Did it take 6 to 15 minutes? Maybe, maybe not. Either way, if I answer the email and, oh, it's just a quick question, I'm not going to worry about it, well, great. You just gave away 15 minutes of your time. If you do that 8 times in 2 days, you just gave away 2 hours. You gave away 2 hours of something you could have been billing. So what the study found was if you do daily time tracking from your people, you can add 15 to 18% to your bottom line right now without changing any process. And I don't know about you, but 15% of my bottom line makes a big difference. So yes, I want to do that. Now, Jeff, I'm going to ask you to talk about work type code there. Talk a little about work type and why that matters in project and task selection.
Well, work type can make a big difference in regards to rates if you're on a time and materials project. It also is really important for you to analyze the work that's being done. So work type is ultimately very, very important for you to be able to really get a handle on your business so that as you continue down the road, you're more effective.
Jeff, talk to me about the subscription and the hour banks option. Why does that matter for profitability?
Well, subscription billing can be really important because it really could tie to a contract. So you're billing a flat amount on some regularity, whether it be monthly or beyond, and that it really provides you with predictable income. based upon delivering goods or services that are requested on that contract. Our bank is very similar in regards to it allows you to set up a certain number of hours that get billed, or a limit of hours that can be billed during a month or a week or whatever that time period may be. So regardless of the amount of time you actually put in, you're getting a consistent, reliable amount of income.
And on the hour banks, you can also, your customer may have, let's say they bought 20 hours worth of service for the month, and they get to the end, they've got 10 left over. No, we don't want to give those hours back. So where can I use those hours in other parts of the customer's business to say, hey, you're going to pay me for 10 hours regardless. Can I help you with X, Y, Z? You've got other ways to get into the customer and figure out how to better help them. And you're really just solidifying, and in the software terminology, you're getting really sticky with your customer. And that's what you're after. That's what holds that 96% customer retention rate. The other
And
big,
Rich, one thing that's really important in regards to that too is there may be times where the client actually goes beyond the amount of hours that they've subscribed to for that period of time, in which case you may have a different rate or certainly can drive more income.
Jeff, talk to me about the ability to work within fixed price and milestones.
Well, a fixed price project is very useful and very often used in regards to when you're estimating a project and what you're going to charge for that contract. You're really thinking in your mind about how much time am I going to take, just like you referred to. But then you can define that fixed price, and if you take less time, they're still paying the same amount. The other thing about milestones in regards to a fixed price project is you have the ability to define, say for instance, you're working on a project that's a year long. There may be certain steps along the way that you're going to bill for. I always use the example of a project, professional service project, where you may require a deposit up front. That could be that first milestone. And then as each task or phase of that project gets completed, then you may drive an additional billing for that.
Talk about mixed billing types. How often does that happen, Jeff?
Well, it can actually happen quite often, and it all really depends on the nature of your business. So a lot of times in consulting organizations, as an example, the staff may travel to individual client sites to do the work that they're going to do. And so it may be a fixed price project, but as part of your contract with that client, you may bill time and materials for travel, for lodging, for a variety of different other tasks. You also can mix in some things where you might have a subscription along with a fixed price project. So it really just depends on the nature of the project, the components of the project, as to whether that works or doesn't.
You talked about charging a different rate for a different type or time or whatever. Give me the best practice there on when we want to adjust our rates.
So I think rates can vary on a project depending on several different things. It can depend on the people that are involved, so that if you have a partner, as an example, or a director that's working on the project, their billable rate may be different than, say, for instance, a mid-level consultant or maybe even a junior consultant. So you have the ability to, depending on the person, they may bill at a different rate. Typically, this is obviously going to be on like a time and materials project, but you also may have uh, uh, situations where we have individuals that are doing different types of tasks. So you might have a project manager, as an example. You may have a trainer, you may have a software developer, and each one of those different roles may have a different billable rate to, kind of fit the level of activity that they're doing.